All right.
Okay. We're getting started just at 7:03. Since this is sort of an emergency meeting, we don't really have much of an agenda. Only what we've already discussed is Angela McArdle with the LNC, I suppose, made a complaint to the FEC against Angela, our treasurer. I don't really think it exists in any kind of official capacity. Like, anybody can make a complaint to the FEC about anybody. Like, the fact that it happens to be the chair of the national party making the complaint really doesn't differentiate it from any outside observer. But Angela's not here though. Shoot, I was just texting with her. Hold on.
He is working until 8 o'clock, but is planning on logging in anytime.
Oh, okay.
Mike, can we take roll call briefly?
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, I skipped right into it.
Yeah, no worries.
Jamie's asked me to take over secretary duties while she drives, so I will
okay.
take attendance. Chairman, Mr. Sliva.
Present.
Raphael.
Here.
I am here. Jamie is here, but she's driving. Angela is pending. I am including the new district reps, although they're not official yet. Donna Gundel-Krieg.
Here.
Jay Jalot, I did not see him. Andrew Duke is here.
Here.
Brian Ellison.
Here.
Mark King is not here. Lisa Joya.
Here.
Here.
All right, District 8, Myron is not here.
Byron is working tonight, but he's planning on being available at about 7:30 to join in.
Okay, Myron. District 9, Kyle. Don't see Kyle. Oh, Fred is here, just in time. Fred arrived the exact moment that I was going to call him. Fred is present. Joe Brungart.
I'm here.
District 12 is still vacant, and Greg Smith is here. I will add the guests are Dave Canny. And that's the only guest. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. We have 11 present, so we definitely have a quorum.
Yeah, cool. Okay, well then, the other thing I guess we can start off with is the case has been filed by Comerica. So this is a type of lawsuit where, since both groups are claiming to be owners of the bank account, just to bring everybody up to speed, they did cut Andrew a check for the full balance of all the accounts. They did that by confirming his status with Daniel Ziemba, although from the notes that the lawyer at Comerica took, they said as treasurer, but Daniel was never listed as treasurer. And so we're not sure if that was a typo on his part, that they would allow a secretary to confirm who the president is, or if it was their policy for a treasurer to be the one who confirms the president, in which case they broke their own policy. But anyways, Andrew did have those checks when he sent out that email claiming that he had control of the bank account. He never had control of it though, because he was unable to cash the checks, as the checks were made out to the Libertarian Party of Michigan, and we're the Libertarian Party of Michigan. He's not, he's the Pizza Party. So they were just holding on to those checks. I joined into their meeting for April, and during open floor, I asked him about that, and he said he was in control. But then one of his officers made an officer report that mentioned the fact that they were having problems with the bank account and weren't able to access any money. And then Jeff Patel, their membership director, made a comment that since they couldn't access the bank account, they didn't have any money to buy new membership cards. So that's when I figured out they had the checks physically, but they didn't have the money anywhere. That's when I called up Comerica and stayed on hold and screamed a lot. And after a few hours, we were in a weird situation where the fraud department hadn't even heard of this yet, even though it had been going on for well over a month at that point. But we got it opened up. We got in contact with Comerica's lawyer. Comerica's lawyer recommended to Comerica that they put a stop on those checks, and a stop was put on those checks, and we're back to frozen. So now Comerica is taking us both to court to let us both make our case as to who that money belongs to, and a judge will decide. On our side, it's going to be me, Joe, and Angela, and it looks like on the other side is just Andrew that was named.
Mike, can you repeat those numbers?
Oh, Joe Brunhart, Angela Thornton Canny, and myself. And that was filed on Friday. And it looks like all the paperwork has been sent, and I guess we're just waiting to hear about a court date. As far as the lawyer for Comerica knew, the other side did not have a lawyer, or at least not a lawyer that they used to contact Comerica for any reason yet. So we'll see how that goes. Any questions about that?
Has Andrew been served?
We believe so, yes.
So we're gonna be represented by our lawyer, so we're gonna have to pay him for this too, right?
Yes. And that was, I believe we went over the breakdown for that. It was pretty much, he gave us a price structure for if we had to sue Comerica. But now technically Comerica's suing us, but I kind of like this situation better, because if we were to just sue Comerica, like we'd be fighting Comerica and Comerica would be fighting back. Whereas now we're just fighting Andrew in the pizza party. Joe?
Yeah, so brings up another question. So what it has Nick offered us the same terms for hiring him to represent us in this case as the previous situation, or did he give us a new set of like costs? for the
Yeah, he
current
didn't give us
situation?
anything new in the way of pricing.
Did we respond to him on which pricing choice that we were going to make? Because I don't remember the committee deciding that.
Yeah, we haven't responded to that yet because it hasn't gotten to the point where we've gone past what we already paid him for. I mean, still just charging by the hour, but
Okay. I think we might want.
because go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Because we never pulled the trigger to file the lawsuit against Comerica, I believe we never picked a pricing plan.
So is he still waiting on us to tell him how we're going to pay him for this specific matter then?
Yeah, I think he's still just charging us hourly until we do.
All right, but I guess we have the ability to choose between those three scenarios. still?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so since the committee never chose to do that, I would like to bring that up for is it in order to bring that up for discussion now?
I believe it would be, yeah. Do you have the pricing handy? Otherwise, I can look it up too.
I'm pulling it up because I was
I'm totally confused. Weren't those three pricing options predicated on the fact that we would be suing Comerica? Now, since Comerica is suing us, the tables have totally turned. So are those three pricing options still on the table, or is he just reverting back to hourly billing?
I was under the impression it was still under the table because we're still, going to have to go into discovery and all the same processes now. We're pulling together all the same paperwork and we're going through all the same contracts, and we're just not pissing off Comerica while we do it.
okay. Sorry, can I have the floor again?
Go ahead.
All right. Did I know Angela's not here. Did anyone ever come up with the account balances from prior to the accounts being transferred in over to Chatterton?
No, I only, just because I had gone into the bank and I had gotten a statement for just the general fund because I was trying to, this was before the money had been taken, so I was just looking for transactions with domain it. So I didn't get the state and federal funds, but I remember it being in the 40,000 range, but what Comerica presented us was in the 30-some thousand range. But doing the math backwards in my head, it seems like it would be correct, but no, I don't have any statements that show it. Jamie?
Yes, two questions here, or maybe one. Did not Comerica promise to provide documentation related to our upcoming filing? And would that not cover the balance?
We have a balance that was given to us by Comerica, yeah.
But I'm speaking specifically to our FEC required filings. They were supposed to give us, I'm assuming, some type of statement to show transactions for the last quarter at the very least, I think would be what would be reported. We haven't gotten those yet.
We've gotten something. Those have all been going straight to Angela and Jason Brandenburg, so I haven't seen it.
Okay.
I've glanced at it, but I know it's been coming through. Brian?
Yeah, so are you saying that we have no idea how much money was in our bank account? And if that's what you're saying, is it possible to like check with Norm on whatever the last update he got? Seems weird that we wouldn't know how much money was there.
I'm saying I don't know, but I don't think it's the case that we just don't know.
Brian, I have the statements from the statements from when I resigned as chair, but I don't have any history after that.
I can't figure out how to put my hand
Presumably there
up.
were
Can I
no
speak?
transactions,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, here we go.
I
Sorry.
think
Angie?
there were unauthorized transactions from the account balances that Comerica sent us, and sorry, but I'll let Angela speak. Sorry, Angela.
No, I'm sorry. I can't. I'm trying to do work and listen at the same time. And like, I just jump in, but I can't figure out how to put my hand up. So I'm a total mess here. But I think just again, like Mike said, working backwards, it looks like what like Andrew paid his lawyer would be my guess. There's about a $6,000 discrepancy between what we showed at the last statements we had were from February. Jason has those. So we look like there's about a $6,000 difference between the end of February and what the amounts that they closed out. So I think it's a fair guess that Andrew paid his lawyer. That is what it looks like to me, Mr. Chair.
Okay. That kind of makes sense because 42,000 was like always the number in my head. That's what I've been shouting at Comerica customer service reps at least. Joe?
Okay, I want to make a motion to hire Nick Curcio to represent the LPM on behalf of the complaint filed against us from Comerica Bank, and do so by the contingency offer that he proposed, where he would receive 33% of the funds recovered.
And I believe that it doesn't mean that he takes 33% out of our money. They take what we get, figure out 33% of that, and then I believe he says he attempts to get that from Comerica.
Point of information. So that was the fee structure that was explained to us when we sued Comerica. At this point, the way the lawsuit's been filed, Comerica is asking to be let out of the lawsuit, and it'll be us against the others. So there will be no recovering attorney's fees.
It's true.
And if we're awarded attorney's fees, it'll be by an entity who won't be able to pay us.
Yeah, it would be by Andrew, and they only have pizza money.
Okay.
I think
well,
getting access back to the bank account is worth whatever money that we need to spend, because there's a special legal fund for that.
Joe?
all right. So since nobody seconded my motion, we'll let it go. Okay. So then now I have a question. Then how much money is in the legal fund now? Not meaning how much money is in our account for that legal fund. And then my second question is how much money is in our trust with Nick?
All right.
Point of order, did Raphael second that motion?
No, I did not. I was just saying that we have special legal fund money to pay for the lawsuit. And I think spending that money to get access to the bank account and the $40,000 roughly would be money well spent and for its purpose. That's all.
The difference left over into the legal fund should be around $3,000. That was where we left it for the end of April. We've gotten donations since then, and Nick's done work since then, but we were hanging in at around 3,000 extra.
Okay, so is that, and sorry, Brian, I know you've got your hand up, but I just want clarification. Is that is $3,000 what's left in our trust that Nick
Yeah.
from?
Yeah, altogether in the trust, we had $10,172.52 at our last update from Nick. And at that point, our total incurred costs were around 7,000 with around 3,000 left over.
Okay, thank you. So do we know how much is in the legal fund now?
We don't have the May update from Nick yet. I can get that from him tomorrow.
No, I
But-
mean, I'm not asking about how much money Nick has of ours. I'm asking about how much in our bank account we
Oh,
haven't given to him yet.
We don't, I mean, just anything that's come in the last couple days, maybe 100, 200 bucks. But I send that stuff over to him as soon as it comes in, pretty much.
Okay, so we have $3,000.
a couple of weeks ago, that's where it was at. So we'll get the update from Nick and get a better number, but that's where it was at. And not a lot has happened in the last couple of weeks until this got filed. So. Brian?
Yeah, I guess when you say we'll get the update, does that mean you'll get the update or does that mean we'll get the update? Because I haven't seen anything about what we've spent with our attorney at this point, and I would definitely like to see it. And then related to that, but I think that before we decide on a fee structure moving forward, we should probably talk to him again because the last consultation we had with him was based on us suing Comerica. And I think that this is a different story. And if we're essentially going to legal battle with Andrew's group, that's probably, if I had to guess, not as well funded as Comerica, it might be cheaper and we might want to look at the hourly rate structure. So it might be important to consult with Nick about that. But I think that getting the whatever the account summary or the monthly bill or whatever we get from Nick and passing it out to this committee, I think is somewhat important.
Okay, yeah. I can definitely make sure that it gets forwarded to everybody. And I think we can just, do you think it's worth setting up a meeting with Nick to go over the fee structure or just asking him what's still on the table or what he thinks changed? Brian?
I mean, I don't know if we need, I mean, I think it's a short conversation. If you think that you can get enough information on your own, that's fine. Otherwise, he bills us the same, whether there's one person talking to him or five, so.
Okay. All right, we'll just try and do it over email because he pretty much explained everything to us. I think he'll just modify if anything, but I'll let you know.
I
Joe?
I would specifically ask him if he needs additional retainer in order to defend us in this complaint. And if there are other fee arrangements that he would propose based on the complaint filed.
Okay. All right, anything else regarding Comerica? Okay, and it has been brought to, my attention that there is some concern that I haven't been sharing enough of this information with the membership as a whole. So I'll write out a short summary email because I think everything that, I just said out loud is A, it's already out there. I just said it out loud into a camera that's being recorded, and B, it's everybody knows it at this point. So, it's public information now. I'll send out that email just so everybody knows, particularly since Andrew did send out that email where he said he was in control of the bank account. We want the membership to know he is not. But then I guess that will move us on to the FEC filing. And Angie, since you were kind of the target of the FEC filing, would you like to let us know about that?
Of course, I talked to Nick about it immediately, and he asked me to write a response, let him know why I think I am the treasurer. I did send that in. I'm not going to put that out publicly. He is going to put it in the form of and I'm not a legal person, I can't think of the right word, like an official statement that goes before the court. My mind is a blank. But and then submit some legal stuff to go along with that. Honestly, it's not going to be a fast process. The FEC does not move fast. So, I mean, I think if Angela and the people that filed this thought that, they're going to turn it in day 15, the FEC is going to open it up, come on day 16 and send them a request. That's not how it works. That they move really slow. So it could be months before we hear anything. It could be years. Personally, the responsibility, I'm not worried about it. We haven't done anything illegal. I was really careful not to do anything illegal because I knew there was a chance this was going to happen. So everything is on the up and up. Pretty much there is no federal money involved, which would be the only thing the FEC cares about. So I'm kind of hoping they just dismiss it out of hand. If they don't, I'm still confident that they'll say, well, you guys figure it out and let us know what happens. So that's about all I have right now.
Since you said you weren't gonna like put out your letter or anything, when I put out an email about Comerica, would you mind if I said something just, in regards to the complaint made to the FEC? We feel we've been in compliance and have little to worry about, or something like that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like I would say that, that I was elected chair. The membership has now twice decided that Andrew Chatterton, or I wasn't elected chair, I was elected treasurer.
I knew it.
Yeah, Andrew Chatterton was twice rejected by the body of the voters, and there has been no federal money involvement. This is not a federal matter. And that would be the mature thing to say. I mean, if you want to start picking it apart, I can help you with that too, but I'm trying not to go there.
Okay. Yeah. And I think some people are thinking this is something kind of more than it is, just because it's the national party that made the complaint. But any outside observer can make this kind of complaint. Like I could make this complaint about the treasurer of the Republican Party right now if I wanted to. It has just as much weight as Angela doing it to us.
You
Angela,
could, but the thing is that, like you said, anyone can file this complaint.
Yeah.
So she didn't have to get involved. She chose to get involved.
Yeah. So I think she did it to look like National is taking some kind of official action, but really they're just kind of being pests. And
Yeah,
sort of hypocrites.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she didn't even write that email. I mean, I don't know why she decided just to rubber stamp it, but I mean, it doesn't sound like her. They got, they got the name of the party wrong, for heaven's sakes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's it's kind of a joke, except for it's the federal government, and as they do take themselves quite seriously. So you have to, I don't know. You have to do what you have to do. I mean, I didn't, I didn't admit to any wrongdoing. I didn't have to throw anybody else under any buses, but I'm on solid ground here. Again, I'm really not worried about it.
Joe?
Yeah, so I don't think we should take this lightly. Like, it's still, like Angela said, it's the federal government. So whether or not we believe it's a serious complaint, I'm sure the federal government will do everything that they can to try to find some type of thing to make it something. I would also like to say, well, actually I don't. Yeah, that's all I got for now.
Okay. But just to wrap up on like the FEC filing, oh, Brian, you have a question?
Yeah, I mean, does this change, this is a question for Angie, does this change anything moving forward? I mean, you're still gonna file the reports when they're due, I would assume? Is that the case?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Until, until someone comes along and tells me not to, I'll file them. That's just, or actually Jason files them, but I'll sign off on them. But yeah, I mean, we're not doing anything wrong. We haven't filed anything with the government yet, the federal government, because they don't have anything due until July, we only file twice a year in non-election years. And it's on a 6-month basis. So it's going to be as of the end of June, we'll file it in July. So we haven't even filed anything with them yet that would possibly be in violation, other than the form that we are required to file when a treasurer gets changed. So we're definitely better off filing that than not filing that. Like
Yeah.
the other board didn't file it.
Does anybody know what the current Libertarian Party, the national one, what the current status is of their balance sheet? I think I don't really think they had all that much money on hand. And they only allocated $12,000 to this lawsuit from what my memory serves, right? Which was a really weak showing. It's not a strong hand. I don't think they have much gas in the tank. That's kind of what I'm getting at. This is a Hail Mary because it's easy.
Yeah.
Let the FEC, let me put a complaint in, let the FEC do all the work. And then these guys got to defend, it's cheap. It's easy.
Well, they also haven't filed a lawsuit yet. Like,
right.
They allocated $10,000 and, wrote us a couple letters. And then they allocated $2,000 additional dollars, which I don't know if that meant they went through the first 10,000 already. It would be insane if they did. But they weren't too impressed by their selection of an attorney. So I don't know if that guy's really got a high hourly or anything, but I don't know if the extra 2,000, they were just getting ahead of what they thought they needed, or if that meant they burned through the 10,000, but
Lisa put in there that the 12 grand was allocated to the trademark infringement. She's right about that. So maybe it's already spent, but nobody knows then what their balance sheet is. I don't know how you could even find out.
There is a legal defense fund, and Jim Fulner seemed to know the exact balance of it. But yeah, no, I know it was for the trademark infringement, but we haven't gotten anything on a trademark infringement. We're not being sued for trademark infringement yet, So if they knew they needed money to sue us for trademark infringement, they haven't begun that process yet. And they just
also Friedrich had a question. I don't know if it's relevant or not, but he says, what are we considering the second time Andrew was voted down by membership?
I would say the fact that I was elected to a new term of chair, and at that same convention, we made a resolution to state that had we had to vote to remove Andrew, we would have. But we didn't have to because he was at a pizza party in Wixom. Oh, okay. And the button I wanted to put, Jamie?
That brings up a concern for me. If they have not, as of yet, burned through whatever money they had designated for pursuing any lawsuits against Michigan, and that is still on the table and possibly in the works. If we only have 3,000 in the legal defense fund, we really need to be concerned with not only what's going on with Comerica, especially if it's not resolved, but having funds available to defend any such suit.
Yeah. And yeah, we certainly have to be prepared for the trademark suit. I think it's a pretty easy win for us, but easy wins still cost money. But But until they file it, I think, let's just see what's going to happen with Comerica. And we can also just, again, make it clear and make it be known that National's been talking about this trademark lawsuit for, quite some time now, and they've allocated quite some amount of money to it. I can't remember which state it was. I think it was Alabama or Arkansas is having ballot access issues. They only allocated $3,500 to aid in an actual ballot access issue, and $12,000, Arkansas, thank you, to sue us, but they haven't filed anything yet. And I think we should make it clear that they haven't filed anything yet. Well, maybe we should or shouldn't. I don't know. Let me know about that one. I don't want to make it sound like they haven't filed anything yet. So stop sending us donations, because we need the donations for if and when they do. But yeah, the one thing I'll keep pointing out is the Democrats don't have a trademark on Democratic Party. The Republicans don't have a trademark on Republican Party, because those are extremely hard to enforce. And I stand by my Coney Island example, why National Coney Island can't sue Michigan Coney Island for trademark infringement. I don't know if there's as many Coney Islands around the rest of the state as Metro Detroit, but there's 80 different kinds of Coney Islands, and they all coexist. But I just wanted to check with Angie one last thing, that you don't need anything else from us at this time. Pretty much the letter's been filed, and
As far as I know, I mean, if you're going to be talking to Nick, you can ask him if he needs anything, like, do we need anything from the board that says I'm the treasurer? But I've done my homework with him. And it's, it's at this point, it's just a pretty simple response. Again, if it hadn't been because of what I think is at stake here, I would have just handled it myself, and not gone to Nick. But if I do it myself, I think there's a good chance that we may have lost. And I wouldn't get in any trouble, but we just make a stronger case by having an attorney present,
yeah,
I think. And if we lost, if they said, well, until you guys work this out, we're going to defer to National, it really would be that same thing that would happen if we lost the bank before we go to trial over the membership issue or the leadership issues. It will look better if the FEC comes down on our side than not. So that's that.
100%.
okay. Joe?
Okay, yeah, I was trying to decide whether or not I was going to talk about this in a recorded meeting or not, but I guess I might as well. So something that's less, I guess, known is I also received the same complaint from the FEC, or the same notification of the complaint from the FEC. So I wasn't named in a formal complaint. However, since my name was the addressee for the 2 cease and desist letters written to the party, the FEC sent me a notification that they are investigating this matter and that I may have potentially violated some type of election law as well. So just so that the understanding is clear and known of what the situation is.
I have a question, Joe. Did you get the same letter I did, the cover letter? I mean, because the complaint is basically that I'm falsely misrepresenting myself as treasurer. that the website on the form is wrong, and that there may be federal money I'm misreporting. And we're, collecting money. So, I mean, we can ask Nick if you have to reply, but you didn't do any of those things. You didn't collect any money. You didn't file any forms. So, I mean, we should definitely ask Nick about that. But if you're worried about it, I don't think that, well, basically with the FEC, the only person that has any personal liability is the treasurer. So that's me. So even if, Andrew had cleaned out all the money and we were, begging the FEC to not fine us for losing all that money, and you were still the chair, you would not have any responsibility. That would all be on the treasurer.
So I do have to respond. But the letter, I didn't read the letter that you got word for word, Angela. I believe the letter from and the complaint that you received and that I received were word for word, except for my name being replaced with your name.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It's just an FEC boilerplate. Here's, this is, it's like there's been a complaint. We need a response. Here's how the process works, and you have 15 days, et cetera, et cetera. But the complaint is in the is what Angela submitted. That's what we have to respond to, is what she said. Because the FEC doesn't even lay out exactly what they think the complaint is. So I just kind of had to piece that together. But yeah, that's a good idea, Lisa. I see your comment there. I can send you a copy of how I responded, Joe, if you want to work off of that. I mean, obviously you'll have something different that you want to say, but it can show you how I approached it.
Okay, yeah, I'd appreciate that.
And I want to point out, I have a successful track record of working on complaints with the FEC. I have, knock on wood, so far I've never come out on the bad end of one. So, I mean, when Andrew filed that, I was like, "You're a dork. This is my wheelhouse, dude. I know better than this." I mean, you may remember when we started picking up the legal money, I was like, "You guys, I need to be involved in this, and this is why." Because I knew there was a chance this was going to happen, and because we did everything right, we're fine. Raphael, let's consult with Trump. I don't know. How about the Judicial Committee? Maybe we can get them to ask. Let's see what they think. Oh, that's right. We don't have one. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll forward you what I wrote, Joe. I really don't, again, because I don't want it to get out there. The complaint got out because Angela posted it. And I'm like, all right, well, she didn't post it. She posted that she had filed one, and then she pulled it down again. And so the internet was all going crazy over it. And one of the Mises people was on the internet going, yep, this was a thing. We did it. We had to do it. It's a shame, but which is really absolutely unprofessional. Why in the world would someone who's not even on the board know that they were doing this? Is absolutely, it's just unimaginable to me that they would.
Doesn't it say in the FEC complaint that there is a law about privacy on this matter?
There's not. There's a law that they are not allowed to release it. We can do anything we want to.
And then Angela McArdle can also release it?
She could have, but she chose not to because I think that she,
Oh, I thought
yes.
that's what you just said. She posted it and then took it down or something.
No, she posted a little thing that said, I have filed a complaint with the FEC against, I forget the George Phillies, who runs like the independent political report site. He's got a screen cap of it out there. But
Gotcha.
And then people were like, wait, what? And she took it down, hoping that it would go away. So I think the privacy concern is mine. They don't want to slander me unless they find that I'm guilty. So that's what the privacy thing is about. And pretty sure that they're over there in the other chat or the other, the fake board, having a pizza party, talking about, oh no, she's really done it now. She's totally released it. But if you read the law, it just says the FEC is forbidden from releasing any information. It doesn't say third parties can't. My work is not going well here. I'm not getting squat done, but whatever.
Sorry. Thank you. But all right, so that takes care of the FEC complaint. We've covered Comerica. And we've even touched on the trademark issue. Lisa?
Yeah, this does raise a point with what Joe said, and I really understand Joe's hesitancy in bringing it up. And this was actually a point of concern of mine before I even joined this board. When it comes down to legal responsibility, what burden will we have to take? And yes, they're assholes, and yes, they're playing these games, but they're playing these games with high stakes, pulling in the federal government and the legal system into this. So I would just like a pledge on all of our parts. I mean, you don't have to, obviously, but if any one of us has to go up in court, and it will probably be Angie first and foremost, or Mike or Joe, you will not be strung out there dry on your own, risking your mortgage. We will have you, and we will have your legal fees. You are not alone in this. You will be supported in this. We will be behind you.
Jamie? Jamie, was your hand up for anything, or did you just?
Yes, of course, because I just
Good.
couldn't unmute myself because that's just how
Oh.
I'm doing it. I just wanted to just speak a little bit to that. From my perspective, I am in this because I believe we are right. We are the legitimate board, and the Legal Defense Fund and our activities here are in support of all of the related shenanigans, we'll call it, and all of those that are affected by it. And the second thing I wanted to just say about that, I mean, that's not an official board, that's just me, that's my perspective. The second part of that is I would like to see, we need to make sure that the membership is informed to the degree that they need to be on all of these activities, these things that are coming up. And I'd love to see a letter from you, Mike, at least once a month, just letting everyone know what's going on. And, you know, again, with that confidence, but also with that link to the Legal Defense Fund.
Okay. Brian?
Yeah, and I guess following up on that, I have some serious concerns about us being overly secretive when it comes to this stuff. And I'm not ignorant to the fact that when it comes to litigation, there's a need to be prudent with what information you release. But at the same time, we have to balance that with the rights of our membership to know what's going on and what we're doing with their party. And so I think that update that Jamie mentioned needs to be done for sure. Monthly, I'm fine with monthly, but I think that when you're weighing what information gets released, I would caution anyone from defaulting to the position that, well, this is a legal issue, so we're not going to talk about it. And I would default instead to the position that we need to let our membership know. And if there's a circumstance that we should not speak about it, that should be the exception, not the rule.
All right.
Is that a motion? Because I'll second it.
Yeah, would anybody like to make a motion for monthly updates from the chair?
I guess I can. I mean, I spoke it. A motion that our chair will send a report to members at least once a month to include updates regarding the legal situations and to include a link to the legal defense fund.
Okay.
I'll second that.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Do we need any discussion? Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
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 I,
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? Okay, that passes. We'll do that. The royal we, I suppose. Me. All right, was there anything else really that we needed to cover? Were there any other questions? Is there any other motions that need to be made?
I just wanted to give an unofficial welcome to the new district reps, Donna, Myron, and Fred. Did I get everyone? Yes. Even though you won't be able to vote until May 19th, welcome. We're glad to have you. I am.
Thank you.
All right, anything else? Oh, Greg, is that you?
Yes, I had to step away because there's a knock on my door. The gentleman from the court was trying to give me the Lara paperwork. But it has Vicky Hall's name on it, so he cannot give it to me. He can only give it to Vicky Hall, so I've got to put them in touch right after this meeting.
Oh, okay.
She's
So what
gonna
was
be thrilled about that.
Why would they put her? I told that guy,
I did too.
Tracy.
I know.
I said, you guys always keep putting Vicky Hall's name on there because the question says, who's the current such and so on the paperwork? And I said, I think that question is incorrect, and it keeps perpetuating her name on the paperwork. It's not who was, it's who's going to be, which is you. So they won't even accept it unless you keep that same name. Isn't that weird?
Yes, but not entirely unexpected.
You can change the registered agent.
We already did. That's what we just did.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Every time you look at it, it's got her name on it.
Oh.
You should
Maybe
tell
that's
him you're a
it.
transgender, Greg, and your name is Vicky Hall. Did he want to see ID?
He didn't, but next time
Now you know.
I'll have to get some of Angela McCardle's makeup.
You would look good. I'm just saying.
Oh, I discussed with some people, we should do a fundraiser where all the men dress in drag and wear Angela's makeup for a legal defense fund.
I like that.
Very newsworthy.
Oh, we don't even have to get Angela's makeup. We just have to go to the store where she gets it and put one of her fake little logos on it. I think it was
Did Jeleno get paid? That was a question I had.
Urban Outfitters. Yes. All right, anything else? Any other motions?
A motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, say
Aye.
aye.
I.
Aye.
All right, any opposed? All right, we're adjourned.
Hey, Mike, can you stick on?
Stop recording.
Oh, hang on. Let me do that.